real estate leads, how to actually get free leads this year. And we're going to go into different avenues. We're going to go into some short-term leads, so those leads that we're going to get in the very short term. And then we're also going to go into more passive strategies that are going to take a little bit longer to get up and going, but at the end of the day, whatever is worth having when it comes to really anything in life, something that may take a little bit longer is generally going to give you more of those passive type of leads that you're looking for, those leads that you don't have to be behind the computer screen every time to obtain them. You don't have to send that DM. You don't have to pick up that phone. You don't have to send out that direct mail piece. There are many different strategies that we're gonna talk about when it comes to passive strategies. So just be aware of that. As we get going, let me know in the comment section where you're listening from, and also if you can smash that like button, it's going to really help out the notifications. YouTube's been interesting here as of late, where they don't show the notifications when we do go live. So anything that you can do on your end to help out the channel would be advisable. Let's get going. Let's get some free real estate leads. To get the traditional methods out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and address those, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but in all fairness, I want to give you as much information as possible to you. So when it comes to the traditional methods, or the ones that I consider traditional methods that have been taught since the existence of real estate, basically, or I'm being a little bit facetious there, but the three strategies that I want to share just openly that are generally free are door knocking, open housing, and cold calling. And I say generally free because it's going to depend on how you get that information. So quick recap: door knocking, open housing, and then cold calling. So those are what I consider free. Marco, welcome. San Antonio, Texas represented. I love it. So those are generally going to be free strategies because of how you come into that information is really where some expense is going to come into play. So as an example, with open houses, it's going to cost you going to the Home Depot and getting some open house signs. Unless your brokerage provides those for you, it's going to cost a little bit of money. If we're looking at, is that Galt, California? California's being repped. I love it. For all intents and purposes, these strategies are relatively free. So I just want to make sure that I call those out. Let's start with door knocking. Door knocking, to make that more successful, you have to have a little bit of a hook. You don't have to have exactly everything that you need to say. It'd be wise for you to have some scripts that you want to have a certain outcome be pulled from every individual, but every individual is going to be different. So depending on when you're watching this video, most places are not in lockdown any longer, so your open rates, as far as people answering the door, is actually gonna go down, because when everybody was home, the open rates with door knocking was incredibly high. But now, as people have gotten back into work and some of them have gone back into the office, you're gonna start seeing a lower open rate. But the things that I want to suggest when it comes to door knocking. Warren from the Tri-Valley area, California. I dig it. Thanks for hopping on. When it comes to door knocking, knowing what to say is important, but being consistent is even more important. If you go around door knocking the entire city of Los Angeles, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very challenging if you have that strategy. So door knocking, I suggest that you reserve it for your neighborhood, for the neighborhood that you are farming. That way there's that repetition, because you're going to have so many different touch points. So that's my suggestion to you with door knocking. It's a great way to get some face-to-face conversations, a great way to break into real estate from the sense of the pressure is on. It's a completely different skill set depending on where you're coming from. Door-to-door sales is something that I personally did very unsuccessfully, might I add, back in the day in Tennessee when I was door knocking in Lynchburg, Tennessee, trying to sell encyclopedias. Not the wisest move on my part, but I did that. I was not that great at it. So as far as door knocking in the real estate sense, there's a different outcome. You're not necessarily trying to sell encyclopedias door to door, but it still can be effective. Now, going over to the open houses, I absolutely love open houses. This is a strategy that I suggest to agents that are limited in time, if you will, with the what they can do during the week. Typically, they are working another job. They're in the education system, so they're teachers, professors, coaches, and we have to be very strategic on when they can prospect actively. Open housing is one of those ways that you can do that. Very much has its place in real estate, has some of the highest conversion rates in real estate, because people that go to open houses, they generally have some sort of intent. So open houses are still a fantastic strategy, a fantastic way for you to get leads. Cold calling, depending on where your list, who you're calling, who your list is. If you're calling expireds, if you're calling FSBOs, if you're calling those individuals that have a need and have expressed that need, meaning expireds and FSBOs, that they are in need of selling their houses, those are ready, willing, and able to people. So if you're calling that list versus circle prospecting, meaning prospecting your farm or prospecting an area, there's going to have some wildly different outcomes. Over here, these are people that are generally ready to go. So what you have to do is stand out from the thousands of people calling them, versus a prospecting that's not everyone's going to pick up. Not everyone's going to be in a situation to where they want to sell. There's less competition from the amount of people calling them. However, that golden nugget, that golden piece of real estate that you're looking for, that home seller to sell, that's a wider area. So here you're farming in a larger area, so you're looking for gold in a much wider area, as opposed to knowing, hey, I know where the gold mine is at, I just have to be at this gold mine and I'm gonna eventually get somebody. Over here, you're exploring a little bit wider, you're a little bit broader, so your conversion rate's gonna be different. So I wanted to get those strategies out of the way. Again, we're looking at free real estate lead generation strategies. Those are what I consider the traditional ways of generating leads. Now let's get more specific. Let's start talking about how to actually generate leads. One of my favorite ways to do this and to generate real estate leads in volume is leveraging Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is a fantastic way for you to speak one to many. So with Facebook Marketplace, the strategy is very simple. You're taking a property that is up for sale, whether it was just listed, whether it had a price drop, whether it's a brand new home, whether it's a property that you took out to market, just in whatever capacity. You're placing that on Facebook Marketplace, which is a directory of, it's kind of like eBay, if you will. It's kind of like Craigslist, where you have you're making it accessible in a marketplace that you didn't create, that you don't really have too much control over, but you know that the audience is there, you know the traffic is there, so people are going to marketplace with intent of purchasing X, Y, and Z. People go to marketplace to purchase bikes, to purchase cars, to purchase clothes, to purchase X, Y, and Z. They also go to Facebook Marketplace to purchase houses, or at least have access to these houses. So you are creating that inventory. You're the individual that's placing that property on Facebook Marketplace, and people are going to send out DMs to you. So the standard response is this still available? From the individuals that are scrolling through Marketplace, if they find a house that they're interested in or stands out to them, they're just going to click on is this still available, or send you a DM directly, and you get to have that conversation. So whenever you place a property out on Facebook Marketplace, expect to get several DMs within the first hour. Expect to get quite a few DMs within the first day. Now it's going to depend on how you put it out to market and also the property, but for the most part, if you work the system that I share in this channel, and if you just go to Facebook Marketplace in the video library that I have for the channel, you're going to find the exact step-by-step blueprint, and I'm going to share with you exactly what to post on there. I would be shocked if you don't get at least 5 people DMing you within a daily schedule, if you do it the way that I share and the way that I teach. So from a Facebook Marketplace perspective, it's a fantastic way to generate those free leads. You don't have to pay for this. It's something that's readily available. Along the same lines, I do have to be fair and acknowledge the originator of this strategy, which is Craigslist. Craigslist is basically the exact same strategy, except you're not doing it on Facebook Marketplace. You're doing this on Craigslist. So again, you are leveraging somebody else's platform. You're leveraging somebody else's success, if you will, through Craigslist. It's still one of the top 20 websites that's being searched, or that gets the highest amount of traffic. So you know that the traffic is there. Very similar to Facebook Marketplace, people go there with intent. People go there to figure out, hey, where can I get this bike? Hey, where can I get this motorcycle? Hey, I'd like to buy a car from somebody on a one-on-one basis. I go to Craigslist to find houses that I might not have access to on the MLS or on Zillow. These are more exclusive deals. So people go with intention. So it's intention-based searching. They go to Craigslist, very much the same strategy. You're placing inventory on Craigslist. The difference here is they're not DMing you. They are sending you either an email or they're contacting you if you place your phone number there. So with Craigslist, what I really like about this is that people are going there with intention, but beyond that, there's a strategy where you can get people to text you directly, and by them texting you directly, you have their real phone number. So this really limits the amount of fake information that you get, that it's online leads are very susceptible to this. So with Craigslist, the strategy there is whenever you're posting a property for sale and you post some details, don't share all the details, but you share some details of the home in the description, the call to action is going to be text me and then have your phone number. They're available. So either you put your real phone number or your cell phone number, or you have an automated system to deploy this. So text 123 main and then put your cell phone number or an automated text autoresponder. So essentially you're asking them to text you a code to a certain number so they can get that information back or additional information on that property. So again, it just depends on how you want to deploy it, but what the beauty of that strategy is, you're getting real phone numbers and you're going to get more people reaching out to you, because in their mind they're thinking it's going to be an automated system. I don't have to talk to this seller. I just want some additional information, but I don't want to be bothered. So I'm just going to text the information and I'm going to get a message. So really, that's the strategy that I suggest that you go with Craigslist. It's one of those that this one is a high volume lead strategy as well, that will bring you in leads that again are searching with intent. Why else would you go to Craigslist? Why else would you go to the real estate side? Why else would you go to buy? Why else would you go and search through all the profiles unless there is some level of intent? So that is a great strategy for you to deploy. Now, I'm going to give you another strategy. So just a quick recap. We've talked about the traditional methods: door knocking, open housing, cold calling. We've also talked about Facebook Marketplace, and we've talked about Craigslist. I'm going to give you a strategy that's on the borderline of active/passive strategy, where it's going to take a little bit of work for you to deploy, but that's okay. And that is creating a Facebook group. Now, creating a Facebook group is something that will take a little bit of time for you to get off the ground, and there's different types of groups that you can create, but I'll break them down into two main strategies. Number one is a Facebook group that specifically speaks about real estate, buy, sell real estate type of a group. So buy, sell real estate in Dallas, Fort Worth, buy, sell real estate in Houston, Texas, buy, sell real estate in Los Angeles. So having those groups that are specifically geared towards real estate, you are effectively, what you're doing here is you're effectively creating your own Facebook Marketplace, your own Craigslist. You're providing a resource for people that have a home to sell and people that want to buy a home. You're creating that marketplace. You have that ability to do that with Facebook groups for free. Again, we're talking about free real estate lead generation strategies and what goes with them. So I hope that's making sense. I just noticed my glasses. Are they giving off a glare? I think they are. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I forgot to take them off. I usually do take them off, but I forgot today. So from a Facebook group perspective, again, there's two main strategies. One is on the real estate side, so you're going straight for the on brand, on topic, really industry related buy sell real estate type of a group. But then you also have a bit more macro group where you're targeting a general area and becoming the spokesperson for that area. So you're creating a group. This is more of a community group that is going to be geared towards the actual city itself. So as an example, everything you need to know about Dallas, or the Dallas Facebook group, the Dallas community group. So you're from Dallas when, and then these are all titles. These are all different ways that you can title it. And that's going to allow you to bring in all these people that live in that city that want to be part of that community. So these groups are going to take off like that. They really grow in size and incredibly fast, because here we're not just talking about real estate. We're talking about a lot of different things. So business owners in Dallas is another title that you can go with, where you're going to bring in different business owners. So people want the benefits of that one-to-many strategy, but not many people are willing to actually create the platform and then get it going. So you're going to find a lot of business owners join your community groups. You're going to find a lot of salespeople join your community groups, and you also get to control who comes in and who comes out. So you can be the de facto real estate agent in your group because you get to control that. And you can, once you get to a certain size, you can start promoting yourself because you're the actual owner. So you provide that type of Trojan horse marketing, where you create the platform and you happen to be the only real estate agent in the market, and start marketing your services that way. So that's a little bit longer strategy. That's not going to be an instant popper, but that's an asset that you can control. So these groups can get massive. These groups can get to 10,000, 50,000, 500,000. Seriously, these groups can get massive. So there you're beating it more from a quantity perspective versus a very niche down area. You can create a first-time home buyers group. And I'm just giving you so many different types of groups that you can create. I'll give you an example of a very successful agent that deployed this. So she was actually in the Florida market, and she was focusing on the knockout program, so NACA. So that program is different and requires a lot of education. So she created a knockout group in that region, people that she could help, and it absolutely blew up. Now, it didn't blow up in quantity, if you will, in the amount of users, but it blew up in the amount of people that reached out. So she's curated this entire group that revolves around NACA. She does education, she shares information, and people reach out to her that want to be handheld from the NACA perspective. So they want to get in this program and actually see it to completion so they can buy a home. And what was interesting when we deployed that strategy was, yes, we got knockout people, so we got people that went through the program, but we also got a lot of people that were not eligible for that, or really didn't even need to be in that part of into that program. So these became FHA buyers, these became conventional buyers, these became other types of clients that she now has a full system to bring people. And now she has a real estate team and is very successful in her own right. So just giving you a real life example of how to leverage Facebook groups. And that was not an overnight success. That took a few weeks to get the where it's at now. Is she's able to travel the country, and we're having her real estate team work the rest of the leads. So she's wildly successful. Super excited for her. Now, again, that's a mid strategy. We'll just call it mid strategy. Now, a long-term strategy, a strategy that's going to take a little bit of time to get off the ground, is blogging. So blogging. So blogging. Now, blogging, how you make this strategy work is you have to go local, because you cannot compete against the Zillows of the world. You cannot compete in the Realtors of the world. You cannot compete against those big billion-dollar companies that are putting out some very high-quality content with their staff of 20 writers that are getting over $100,000 a year. So you can't compete with that budget. The beauty of that is you don't have to compete against them, because they are going for market share from a worldwide perspective, from a national perspective. You're not competing against them. You're competing against your farm. You're competing against them in your local area, in your local town. So the race to the hyper local with blogging is ultimately what wins. And it's going to be one that once you get going, you're going to find that as soon as it indexes, meaning that whenever somebody types on Google and says Dallas, let's just say Burleson real estate agent as an example. So Burleson is a suburb of Dallas Fort Worth. When somebody types that in, you are going to start coming up. So that's the important things when it comes to indexing, meaning you show up whenever somebody searches. So SEO, search engine optimization, is how you're going to hear it said. That's what you're going after. And once you get that going, once you get it popping, it's going to be on autopilot. Now, it does take a little bit of time to get there. Don, a few weeks is still pretty good. It really is. It really is. So I believe you were referencing the Facebook groups. It's one of those strategies that's a great point. That's a great point, Don. I'll pause for a quick second and address that. The strategies that I'm suggesting, I'm not suggesting you do all of these strategies. I'm suggesting that you add one to your repertoire. If you are the referral person, if you're the referral king, the referral queen, whatever you are, that this is your only line of business, this is going to help you diversify in how you bring in some additional clients, how you bring in new clients. So I'm not suggesting you do everything at once. What I'm suggesting is that at least take one of these and add to your arsenal today. That way you are diversified. That way, if for some reason your Facebook group gets shut down, your entire business is not wiped away. So you're looking at different ways to bring in the business. So you are this big, mighty river and all these tributaries. I think that's the right way of saying it. So all these little streams are flowing in so you can continue with your business. That's what we're talking about here. So again, with your blogs, that's something that's going to take a little bit longer to index. It's going to take a little bit longer from a learning perspective. It's going to take you a little bit longer, but really think about it this way. It's going to take you, let's just say, an hour to write a blog. It might take you an hour. It might take you an hour to write out the blog. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. Let's just say 6 hours just to get silly. It takes you 6 hours to write a blog. Okay, well, that was your lead generation strategy for that day. The work that you put in that day, we'll call it February 3rd, 2012. Just random date. February 3rd of 2012. Well, that's, where those 6 hours went on that day. But guess what? February 3rd of the following year, I forgot what year I said. The year after that, the year after that, year after that, it's still working for you. The call that you made a week ago isn't going to do you any good today. So the call that you made yesterday isn't going to do you any good today. If you stop cold calling today, you stop getting business. Right? So that's when we talk about passive strategies. That's what we really love about blogging, where you get to put one blog out there, another blog out there, another one out there, another one out there. You don't need all of them to hit. You just need one. Then you capture somebody's attention and you bring them into your funnel, into your system. So that's why I really like about blogging. One pro tip there is make sure that you bring something of value to the reader. The information is good, but it's not enough. So you provide enough value to the reader from hey, I did not know this about the Fort Worth market. Now I'm educated. Oh, and you're also offering me an X, Y, and Z. So you're offering me something of value that I can now use. You're offering me a list of the top neighborhoods that are underpriced right now. I'll give you my email for that all day long because I'm trying to move into Fort Worth. Right? So, you have the preferred, the home buyer, the relocation guide that lets me know the dry cleaners in the area, that lets me know of the movers in the area, that lets me know of the groomers in the area, the parks in the area. whatever you want to include, you're providing an instant win and instant solution to somebody's needs. So you are addressing the rock in their shoe. Atlanta. I miss Atlanta. I was supposed to be in Atlanta in August for do a presentation on YouTube, but just some family issues got in the way, so I couldn't make it out. So next year I'm for sure signing up for Atlanta again. I like that place. Thanks for being here. So blogging, a little bit longer strategy, but it's one of those strategies that if you deploy it directly, you don't have to cold call a day in your life. It's that powerful. So I love it. I love it. And well, one benefit that I'm actually going to touch on our next strategy, because they actually work in unison, what we're doing right here. I'd like to think that I'm providing value into your business. If so, that like button is going to go a long way. So let me know with the like button. That's going to help. But with YouTube, the beauty of that is, one, it's absolutely free. Again, free real estate lead strategies, free real estate leads. These are all going to generate that. So you're going to get them for free. So it's nothing. It doesn't cost you anything to upload, but you get that very similar concept with blogging, where you index, where you get that traffic, people are coming in. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google, so they play favorites with each other. And with YouTube, it is the most watched platform, so people come here to actually watch videos. What I really like about YouTube as well is the fact that the competition is very, very small. You don't have a lot of real estate agents in the platform altogether, and certainly operating at a very high level. Now, the creators that are YouTubers that are operating at the high level, I can tell you from a bringing in business perspective, many of them are actually my close friends and or my business partners. So Javier Vidania, check him out. So he's got a fantastic channel. He's got over 115,000 subscribers on YouTube and gets a massive amount of views. Let's see, Christina Smallhorn, she's got over 130,000 subscribers on YouTube and gets millions and millions of views. So she's also somebody that's operating at a high level. Brian Casella, he was the first realtor / YouTuber to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. He was actually at our summit just yesterday, presenting to our group about communication. So presenting specifically to my real estate group and our guests. So these individuals, they are getting business while they build other businesses. They get a ton of people reaching out to them because of the work that they did, from a video they uploaded today, a video they uploaded a year ago, 10 years ago. That's going to do the heavy lifting. And the beauty about blogging and also YouTube is the fact that whenever somebody reaches out to you, they're ready to go. They are absolutely ready to go. There's not going to be an easier lead to convert than a YouTube lead. I'll be candid with you. This is how I've been building my entire business from multiple angles, multiple businesses, but from the type of business I do with real estate agents and providing value to you this way. YouTube has been that way, where I'm pretty good at marketing and getting the word out, getting these videos out. I'm very bad at sales. So I need to be strong in marketing because my sales is a bit weak. Meaning when I'm on the phone, I'll generally know what to say and how to say it, but not that great of a closer. So it's very advantageous that individuals like yourself smash like and also subscribe, but also when you reach out, you already have a level of comfort in knowing generally who I am, what I do, what I'm about, if you're interested in working together, if you're interested in partnering. So if you're interested in being part of the real estate team, then you'll reach out. But a lot of the heavy lifting has already been done by you. You're the one that's watching this content. You're the one that's getting value from these videos, from learning how to run Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing, all of the types of videos that I make. You're the one that's actually doing the heavy lifting. Cameroon is in the house. I appreciate it. Now, another strategy that this one's actually not even in the long-term strategy. This is more on the please jump on this opportunity, today's strategy, and that is TikTok. So TikTok / short form, in all fairness, I should say TikTok / short form. So giving you some 3 platforms to focus on and really keep your eye on and take some action in it now because the gold rush is on. TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Those are three short form platforms that you need to really start pumping out some content in. That's a meeting that me and my team just had this week. We are going crazy adding as much short form as we possibly can on the TikToks, on the YouTube, on the Instagram. And it's, we've really ramped up our production. So I have an entire team dedicated to short form at this point, from an editor, from a graphic design, from an implementer. We have a lot of focus on short form. So I'll give you an example. Somebody else that's been actually in our summits before, Glenda Baker. She is the absolute TikTok queen. She got on the platform not even 2 years ago, just over a year ago. She started on TikTok and has absolutely blown up. She's got hundreds of thousands of followers, millions upon millions upon millions of views. And she, in a very short amount of time, just for this year alone, so as of this recording, it's been about 8 months, she has over $150,000 in GCI, which is insane. And this just GCI from TikTok alone, not her regular business. Her regular business is awesome. But from TikTok perspective, some people actually reaching out directly from TikTok, over 150,000 in GCI. So when it comes to short form, this is the gold rush. I seriously do mean that. We've really, I've been focused on some other ventures here as of late, but now it's go time. We are really dialed in on short form at this point. So TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, explore those options. Explore those options for your business today. It's one of those ways that you can get your name out there in a very lightning fashion. And here's one thing that can't get lost. You getting exposed to all these new viewers, all these new potential clients, all these potential leads is awesome. It's great. You're going to get a lot of views, but don't forget what I call shrapnel. So when I say shrapnel, when a grenade goes off, there's a bunch of shrapnel that goes out. When an explosion happens, there's a lot of shrapnel. Well, that explosion can be your TikTok video that goes viral. Well, the shrapnel that comes out is you get more Facebook friends, you get more Instagram followers, you get more YouTube subscribers. So yes, your explosive growth is going to be that epicenter, which is that TikTok video. But don't forget about what happens beyond that. Don't forget about what happens to the other platforms that you're on. So I'll give you another example. Clubhouse. Clubhouse really came into its own at the better part of the year. And now what you're going to find, if you put in some time on Clubhouse with any regularity, you're going to find your Instagram is going to take off, because for the longest time, that was the only way for you to connect. It was through Instagram. There was no DM mode on Clubhouse. So when it came to Clubhouse, a lot of users, what you would find, myself included, is not only did your connections and followers increase on Clubhouse, but your connections on Instagram absolutely blew up as well, because to communicate with you, they had to literally connect over on Instagram and send you a message. So that's super powerful. Folks, it's been absolutely a pleasure. If you have any questions now or in the future, please feel free to let me know. One quick reminder, about 80% of you that are watching this video right now are not subscribed. Take care of business. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so you get notified when we go live. And I'll be glad to help any of you with any questions that come up. I'll see you on the next